to go. I'm good to go here. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jim Rowe. I'm Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of Arlington Rowe and Company. We are based out of Indianapolis, and we are a wholesale broker and managing general agency. And I appreciate everybody listening in. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're located. Wait a minute. Is that a fire I see out there? Black smoke? Oh my goodness. I wonder what's burning and what will happen to those people that either live there or business. Who's going to pay for the loss that fire is going to create? And I'm also, by the way, we're in a 18-story building, and my office is on the southwest corner, which means I'm responsible for looking for tornadoes and convective storms when they blow in. And everybody in the Midwest knows, and on the southeast coast, with hurricanes, convective storms, when those things blow, there's a lot of damage. Who's going to pay for that damage? If you're a homeowner or a business and you have a mortgage on your building and you can't use that building or the house anymore, who pays for your mortgage? Who reimburses you? That's what we do in our business. Some other examples. Right now we have our boardroom and our lobby area we cannot use because we had water damage about 2 months ago, and they're just now coming in here to fix that. Well, who pays for those losses? Who pays to fix all that? And we've had to rent a couple places off site because we can't use our boardroom. Well, who pays for that extra money? That's what insurance is all about. A few years ago, unfortunately, we had a cyber attack. Whoever the bad guys were, and I think they're out of business right now, but they shut us down for about 3 days. Actually, they came in with a ransomware request for $12 million. We didn't have $12 million sitting around to pay them so they would turn us back on or give us our key back. We had insurance for that. We ended up paying a little bit of money back to these bad guys. But that's what cyber liability insurance covers. And one other example, life insurance and accident insurance. If you happen to be traveling overseas and you're involved in an accident or get sick, and you need to be transported back to the United States, who pays for that? Well, that's what accident insurance is about. That's what life insurance is about. By the way, the life insurance companies, the actuaries that predict things in the future, like our weathermen predict things in the future. But actuaries can tell you how many people that are 100 years old that will die on July the 9th. They're pretty good at predicting that. What they can't identify is what the name of that person's going to be. They can't tell you who it is. So I want to go into this a little bit more and tell you why insurance needs all of us. Insurance is very similar, by the way, to gambling. There's a big difference though. Gambling, you can either make money or you can lose money. Flying out to Las Vegas one time with my 4 children, my wife, and it was at night, we were flying in. I said, hey guys, look out the window at all those buildings and all the fancy lights and all that. Who do you think pays for all that? Well, all the people that are putting their money in those machines, all the people that are standing around the blackjack table. That's how they make money. You could call those folks actuaries as well. They figure out what the house needs to keep. And obviously, by looking at all the lights and all the fancy buildings, that the house keeps a whole lot more money than the people that win. Insurance is a little bit different. You pay a premium to insure your property, to insure liability, to insure your life, to insure your cars. But the insurance companies keep a little bit to pay claims. Actually, in most cases, 65 to 70%, sometimes even more, the insurance companies are paying out for claims. and they keep a little bit of money to sell the coverage, to administer, to pay taxes, and all the rest of it. So again, insurance is like gambling, but insurance you can only lose, you can't win. And this thing is not forwarding. Yeah, Matt, can you move the next slide? Doesn't seem to be working on my end. There you go, next slide. Actually, this slide I stole from or borrowed, actually didn't steal, that's against the law, but borrowed this from another presentation that we gave. What I want you to focus on is the left side of that says, never stop learning. And this is a presentation we gave to some of our folks internally, but never stop learning in any business. You have to always learn something, in my mind, something new every single day. And so that's part of what I want to get into here. Next slide, Mac. So I'm going to read this for you. What is insurance anyway? I told you a little bit about what it's not. It's not gambling, but you don't win when you're involved in insurance. So the insurance sector, it's part of the financial services business, provides protection against future risks, accidents, and uncertainty by allowing individuals and businesses to transfer the financial burden of potential losses to an insurance company in exchange for a premium mitigating the financial impact of unforeseen events. What? That's a run-on sentence if you ever saw one. The bottom line is you buy insurance to protect things that you can't afford to lose or you can't afford to replace on your own. And a comparison I would use is if you have a $1 million building that you own and the place burns down or blows away, do you have enough resources to rebuild that and pay for that? And especially if you have a mortgage or you owe somebody for that building, you're probably not going to have the money to take out of your pocket. On the flip side, if you go once a week, once a month to get your car washed or get an oil change, do you insure those? You probably could. But if your car wash costs $25 and you do it once a month, what would the insurance premium be? The insurance premium would probably be about $35 to pay for the cost of the car wash, plus the expense to manage that to reimburse you or reimburse the car wash place. So insurance is really designed for the loss you can't afford. That's why deductibles come into play when you buy any kind of insurance to pay for those partial losses that you can't afford. Because if you don't have that, then your insurance cost is going to be a whole lot higher. Next slide. So why insurance, as we're talking about? Financial protection. As I said earlier, it's for the loss you can't afford. If you have a small fender bender in your car and it costs $500, you may not have that sitting in your bank account. But again, the insurance to insure $500 would be a whole lot higher than you'd want to pay. But if it's a $30,000 car and it's totaled, you probably can't take $30,000 out of your pocket. That's what insurance is all about. And as I'm sure you're aware, there are in all states a financial responsibility law that says from the liability side of things, you have to be able to show financial responsibility if you happen to injure or damage somebody else. And the homeowner side, if you own a house or rent an apartment and you're responsible for a fire, people could come back and sue you for that amount of money, and you want to protect your own personal assets. That's what insurance does. There's medical insurance in the event you go to a hospital or you have a emergency transport. That all costs money, and as most of you know, the bills for medical and medical expenses continue to climb and go up, and so that's what the medical side of insurance, the health side, the life side, that's what that covers. And the bottom line is this risk transfer piece in there says you are actually transferring your financial risk to somebody else, that insurance company. And in most cases, you do that from or through a financial advisor. Call them an insurance agent, an insurance broker. There are many companies that do business directly with you. But in my opinion, because we operate as an insurance broker, it's really important to get that expertise in terms of what should I buy? What does it cover? Go back to that first part of that financial protection. It covers you for a covered event in the situation where you have a loss, but it says in bold, under certain conditions. What that means is insurance is a transfer of your risk, but it's a financial contract. It's a legal contract, and insurance policies they come in several sections. They will tell you in writing what it is that you get, what it is you're covered for, but then it'll tell you what you're not covered for. And the best examples I could give are war. If you're in a war zone and people are attacking you, insurance companies don't want to pay you in the event you get hit by a bomb. So nuclear is normally an exclusion. So that's really important to always read your contract to see what is covered and what is not covered. And that is why it's important in my mind to have a financial expert that is advising you on that. And that's who you buy your insurance through, an agent or a broker. Next slide. Societal impacts. By buying insurance, it encourages the major life decisions. You wouldn't be able to buy a home without having insurance, because if you finance it, because no bank would loan you any money in the event that you had a fire without insurance. You could just walk away from the home. Then they'd have to try to sue you to get the money. That's not why banks are in the business to own a lot of property like that. If you're starting a business and you go out and you buy money or borrow money for that, then the lender wants you to insure the property or your business to make sure that they're not going to lose money if you go out of business. So community recovery, we just saw all of those, unfortunately, all those flood losses and the loss of life down in Texas. Hopefully there's a lot of flood insurance that's involved with that, because who is going to pay for the loss of all that property if they don't have flood insurance? And then the leading voice in safety, there are firms out there that provide a lot of safety, like Underwriters Laboratories, UL. You see that on a lot of the wiring in your homes and a lot of products. It's UL approved. That is backed by the insurance industry to make sure that there are fewer losses in the event of any kind of loss of a product or wiring or anything like that. So insurance really supports having fewer losses, because loss is not good for any party. Next slide. Wanted to get into a little bit of the conversation we have today in terms of why insurance? Why might you want to pick insurance? And one of the reasons is that I can tell you is insurance is, whether you like it or not, we all have to buy it. Back in the COVID days of 2020, the insurance industry, and I think the number is, other than utilities, was the lowest loss of jobs in our economy, in our environment, because insurance is required and is needed. Like I said, to finance anything, you have to buy insurance. To own a car and drive a car, you have to prove financial responsibility. So very few people lost jobs back in the COVID time when it started in February and March of 2020. Insurance is something that is consistent over the years, and people have been in this business a long time, can stay in the financial services business because of that repetition, that need of insurance. And this is our own demographic. We have around 240 associates in this organization, my organization. You can see the baby boomers in the upper left-hand corner, born between 1945 and 1964. I'm one of those baby boomers, and 20% of our population here, so call it 48 to 50 people, are in that category, and they're going to be aging out and wanting to retire if they're not already. So 20% or 50 people in this organization, we're going to need to replace those folks. Well, who's going to replace them? If you look at the Gen Zers, 16% and growing. In fact, we have 4 interns that are juniors in college right now, majoring in insurance. They're working for us this summer. That's something that we have been doing for a number of years, is bringing in young interns that can understand what it is we do here, how we do it, and in most cases, we continue to employ them during their junior or senior year so that hopefully they'll come work here permanently after they graduate. So there's a great opportunity in the insurance business, because I don't think our particular business here is a lot different than most insurance businesses, where the baby boomers will be retiring, and that leaves plenty of room for new people to come in. So next slide. What does a career in insurance look like? Well, many of you, when you think of insurance, you think of insurance salesmen going door to door, knocking on doors. That really doesn't happen anymore. There may be a few of those people out there, but these are all the different areas that you could specialize in the insurance business. You could be an underwriter. We have underwriters on behalf of insurance companies in our organization. Agents are people that represent the insurance company. Brokers are people that represent the insured or the buyer of insurance. We have both of those in this organization. You could get into the management area, human resources, accounting and finance. We have a CPA, CFO on staff. Legal, we have an attorney on staff. Rick Pitts, he actually came to me one time, and he was a partner in a law firm, and he specialized in insurance. He came in and says, Jim, I'm tired of chasing new dollars, new commission dollars, if you will, all the time, because that's what you do. It's new revenue in any business. You constantly have to be increasing your revenue. And he said, I'm tired of practicing law with a firm. Can I come work for you? And Rick has been around here for almost 25 years now. Claims people are involved. Engineering. In order to insure a big risk, there are engineers that go out and do audits and engineering studies on who that client is, and if there are any deficiencies, they point those out. Medical related, there are doctors and nurses that work for a number of insurance companies. Meteorology. I was over in Switzerland for a meeting, and one of the meteorologists came in and told us about the wind patterns and the flood and environmental patterns that were changing. That all leads to an appetite for risk, and what do you charge for that? So go down the rest of that list. Actuarial, to determine what the prices are. Education, training, and development. We have several people on staff here that are educating and training not only our folks internally, but externally, our customers. premium audit, regulatory. If you're working for the states actually control the insurance industry in this country. So every state has their own department or insurance area that they regulate. So regulatory is another big issue. Marketing. We have a number of marketing people that are going out, and that includes sales as well. They're going out and asking for business. But I've got several people in here that work on the marketing side to send out information electronically to keep our clients up to date. Product development, technology, is artificial intelligence. We're trying to study that more and more in terms of how can that help us become quicker, faster, better, give us more information. All those different areas are part of the insurance industry, part of what we do here. So it's not just door-to-door sales, which I said happens very little. There are a lot of different areas in the insurance business that you can look at and have a great career in those areas. Next slide. What should a new employee expect? Well, we have a number of people when they start. After the first week, I ask them, hey, how'd your first week go? They say, some of them have said, you know what, I think I may have taken the wrong job because the information I'm getting is like a fire hose. They can be confused and overwhelmed. It's like anything, it takes time. Or you could be bored to death. Well, if you're bored to death as a new employee, maybe you took a job with the wrong company, because I think any company should be really confusing you and overwhelming you. That'll settle down after a while. There's a lot of learning and information that's going to come your way. But at the end of the day, if you're going to proceed and progress in your career, it's, as I said in the first slide, it's lifelong learning. Learn something new every day. When we have some of our new folks come in here, I ask them to stop by at the end of every day when I'm here in the office. Come by here, and I want you to tell me what you learned today, and I'll tell you what I learned today. Because if you're not growing in knowledge and information, quite frankly, if you're not growing in your business every single day, you're starting to die. So lifelong learning is critical. And I assume that's the reason that you guys are all on this call and wanting to learn more about this business. Seek a company that is growing. Are you going to be able to grow with them? Are you going to be able to help them grow? If the company's not growing, that's going to limit your opportunities to grow. And what is that company culture? Do they listen to you? Do they help you grow? Do they pay attention to your suggestions? Do they even ask for your suggestions? Or do they push down and just tell you, here are the rules, follow the rules? For those people around here, they know I'm not a rule follower. Let's make this stuff up. Let's do the right thing. We have 3 rules here. Number 1, do the right thing. Number 2, don't screw up. Oh, what does that mean? If you're not sure about what you're doing, ask somebody else. And most importantly, the 3rd rule is have fun. If you're not having fun and you don't want to get up in the morning and go to work, then you either need to change what you're doing or the company needs to change, or both. Learn as much of what you don't want to do as what you do want to do. Sometimes that's what we need. Find out early on in your career, if you take a job, find out what it is that you really like and focus your attention on that. If you don't like it, first of all, talk to your management and see if you could go into a different area in that company. But that's really important, is understanding what you do and don't want to do. Learn as quickly and thoroughly as possible, and then ask for more. If you don't have much to do, raise your hand and say, I need more work. I've learned, I think, really well what I'm supposed to do. Can you give me more? And I like to use a saying around here, we don't promote you, you promote yourself. And one of the ways you do that is raising your hand. How can I do more? If you try to get by with things, you may not have much of a career there. And the busiest and most productive people are always going to be asked to do more. That means you have an opportunity to grow in that business. Next slide. So what's important for a student going forward? Study hard, enjoy school, have a good time while you're there, but don't forget about the long term and the big picture. Always focus on that big picture and learn as quickly as possible what your interests are. Use internships. Like I told you, we have 4 people this year in our internship program. Visits to any corporations or any businesses that you're interested in, shadowing for those businesses for prospective opportunities. Always be looking, like I say, for that big picture, that long term, and that will serve you well. Work hard, study hard, and the next slide. Can I get an amen? So take all this information in. Like I say, work hard at looking at that big picture and never forget to continue to learn something new every single day.